All right. So we're going to talk about fitting a line to data. Okay. So I have this set of data, and we'll assume that this is my number of people, and this is the number of seconds. And I ran another segment. This information will be different than yours, but the idea is the same. So up here is the process of how to find a line of best fit. Okay, so first draw a line. So there's about as many points above the line as below the line. The points above the line should not be concentrated at one end, and neither should points be below the line. So I've sketched my line that kind of goes to the middle. I have some more at the top and more in the bottom, and they're kind of balanced between those two. So then I'm going to find the slope. So I'm going to pick 2 points. So I think these 2 points best represent. You don't have to pick points. I could have picked like a nice one that goes through nicely like this, so that would be a good one to pick maybe. But I'm going to pick these 2 points, okay, which is 0, 0, and 25. So I'm going to pick 2 points and find the slope. So my points are 0, 0, and 25, 25. Now I could just look at this and see it goes that the change in x is 25, and my change in y is also 25. But let's go through the whole formula just in case it doesn't quite work out that nicely. Okay, we'll zoom in a little bit. So find slope. Remember that is y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2, where these are the coordinates of the same points and these are the coordinates of the other point. So I'm going to say 25 minus 0 over 25 minus 0 equals 25 over 25, or 1. Now this is if we're doing the same problem, this is an exceptionally slow class because it takes them about 1 second for each person to do the wave. Now remember too, so this units of slope, remember that this was number of people, and this is seconds, time in seconds. And if we think about our slope, right, this is 25 over 25, which would be 25 people in 25 seconds. Now I don't really want to know how long it takes to do 25 people. I want to know how long it takes to do one person. Oops, I got that mixed up. Seconds per people. And so my units of slope would be seconds per person. So I'm going to do that division and get, it takes 1 second to do one person. Alright, now go to the top of the next page. Now the way we've written point slope in the past has been y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now because of wanting to write it in function notation, right, I don't want to have this guy over here, so I'm going to add that to both sides. And I'm going to get y equals m x minus x1 plus y1 out here. Okay, so let's write it. My slope was 1, and then I'm going to pick 1 point. Now I could pick 0, 0. That would be the best point to pick probably. But I'm going to pick 25, 25 just so that you guys can see that. So we got 25 and 25. So there's my equation. Y equals 1 times x minus 25 plus 25. I also could have written y equals 1 times x minus 0 plus 0, which would have simplified out to y equals 1x. So write a paragraph about your results. Include what your slope of the line and what does it mean. So the slope of my slope represents the time it takes for one person to do the wave. And like I said, 1 second, that's pretty slow class. What do the x and y intercepts mean? So let's think about this. If I've got my y-intercept and my x-intercept are the same, but my y-intercept tells me that it takes no time for no people to do the wave. What is a reasonable domain of equations, right? You can't have negative people, so people would be the domain. So you can't have negative people, so people would be greater than or equal to 0. So you could have 0 people, you could have 10 people, you could have 1,000,000 people, but you couldn't have negative people. Can you use your line to predict how long it will take to complete the wave if everyone at the school participated? Sure, we could. I'm going to write it in function notation. I'm going to say the time that it takes to do the wave is a function of the number of people. And in this case, I'm going to plug into my equation. I'm going to use that one up there. Y equals 1x. Or 1p. Okay. And if I wanted to do the school, there are 164 people at the school. And I would say 1 times 164 is just 164. That's how many students there are in the school. Okay. Could you do a large stadium? Sure. Let's say that, sure, we could. Now, the problem is that with a large stadium, more than one person is going at a time, and so the time's going to be a little bit off. All right. But let's look at this practice bit down here at the bottom. Okay. Let's find and this will be nice because then we can just, they'll be the same. All right. Find the equation of line that goes to the points 2, 3, and 5, 7. So in order to find the equation of the line, I need to know my slope, and I need to know a point. Okay. So I can use either one of these points, but first I got to find my slope. So I'm going to say m equals 7 minus 3 over 5 minus 2. And I would get 4 over 3. So my slope is 4/3. And I can use either one of these points. I'm going to use 2, 3. So let's write my equation. Y minus 3 equals 4/3 x minus 2. Remember that it always looks the opposite of what it says. Okay. Write an equation that goes to the point 2, 3 and has a slope of 5. Oh, I just give you that information, right? So once again, I can say y equals, or y minus 3, the y-coordinate of my point, equals the slope 5 times x minus 2, the x-coordinate of my point, right? Because here's x, there's y, boom, boom. Okay. Let's go through, write the equation of the line that goes through the point -4 and is parallel to this line, which is 2/3. So I know my slope, if it's parallel, it's going to be the same. So my slope is 2/3. And there's my point. So I'm going to say y minus 4 equals 2/3 x plus 2. Remember that it's always the opposite of what it looks like. Now, write the equation that goes to the same point, but is perpendicular. So perpendicular is the negative reciprocal. So if my slope is 2/3, my slope of the line perpendicular is going to be -3 halves. Okay? Would be the perpendicular slope. And then we just plug in that point. Y minus 4 equals -3 over 2 x plus 2. Y-coordinate, x-coordinate, slope. So for homework, I'll do one more. For homework, I want you to do pages 3 and 4. Okay. All you have to do here is I have to pick out a point, or 2 points, right? Write the equation in slope form. So once again, I need my slope, and I need 1 point. Okay. So here's a point. that would be the point -2, -3. Right? -2, -3. And another nice looking point is this one right there, which is the point 1, -1. Let's find my slope. M equals -3 minus -1 all over -2 minus 1. So -3, this becomes -3 plus 1. So that's -2 over -3, which is 2/3. And now I can use either of these points. Okay, so one answer to this question would be y plus 3 using this point. Okay, y plus 3 equals 2/3 x plus 2. Another answer to this problem would be y plus 1 using this point right here equals 2/3 x minus 1. Once again, it always looks the opposite of what you think it should. Okay, so I want you to finish this page, page 3, and page 4 for Monday.